Hello, this is a short behavioral interview for my Springboard coursework. My name is Marcelo Fuentes, and this is for a data scientist and data analyst position. So I will be discussing a couple of behavioral questions for a data science or data analyst role. And I will begin the first one with why do you want to be a data scientist slash data analyst? So I would like to be a data scientist slash data analyst because I feel that the path that I've taken, both academically and professionally so far, have all led me to this final step. Very early on in my school years, I was doing panel data time series regression analysis with multiple OLS regressions. And then later on, as I was working further up into my professional career, I started working much more in predictive analytics, statistical inference, and so on and so forth. I believe that these are some basic skills that I think would very much fit into the profile of someone who is a data scientist. Hence why I think that this would be just a natural enhancement of my professional profile, as I would want to say more than completely change, just shift into a data science and or data analyst role. The next question that I have is why do I want to work at this company? The company that I had chosen was Spotify, and this would be for a data science role. They have many different departments within Spotify, as I understand it. Both some departments that look at revenue forecasting or just forecasting for income or other like bottom and top line figures, as well as the team that looks at the Discover Weekly platform that they have where they showcase new artists and new songs within their platform. So I think that given that I've worked on projects involving both forecasting for one of my personal portfolio projects in Springboard using the S&P and a music popularity determination model using Spotify's data, I think that I would be very well suited to work within Spotify. Putting that aside, looking at it more from the perspective of someone who would definitely want to make an impact on society, I think that Spotify is a company that has a lot of the same values that I share, which is, giving a platform and giving a voice to both musicians and just generally speaking artists, because there's also podcasts and whatnot, that would otherwise not be very well known. Lastly, I would have to my last question is, tell me about a time you had to handle a conflict with your colleagues. Now, the experience that I had is with my current firm, where we were tasked with solving this one issue. This issue revolved around the sales pipeline being a little inefficient at times as it related to the products and solutions that our team sells. So what was happening was, the situation was this. A lot of the sales pitches that were thrown by sales were oftentimes met with people on the other end who did not necessarily know much about the product themselves. Then, as a result, they would ultimately either provide inaccurate information on a sales pitch. If not, they would then escalate it back to the product manager or somebody who would be a low-level manager or mid-level manager within that product vertical. So what we were tasked to do was try to find a solution to this issue. So me and 3 other colleagues ended up deciding to create a handbook that would eventually gather a series of FAQs, marketing brochures, information of the sort, key points that would eventually become the, dialogue or script that the sales team would use whenever they would be pitching a specific product. And this would be a quick reference guide that they would be able to use whenever they were on the phone with someone, so they would not have to escalate any sort of questions back to the product managers, hence increasing the efficiency of the overall sales process. So obviously this took a couple of months, and we had to work with different teams as well as product managers and the sales teams themselves to understand both on the end of the sales team what were the issues, and on the end of the product managers what were the key features that they would want for sales to push forward whenever they were pitching this product. The result of all this project was that we were able to create a handbook that eventually became a quick reference guide for essentially the whole sales team. And we were able to send a survey after, as a post-mortem after the handbook was released, to get an idea of what was the satisfaction rate that this team had. obviously, as expected, the sales team ended up being much more satisfied with the overall sales process, and also a lot of the product managers that had expressed being overburdened by many questions that were at times answered in a very similar manner because they were frequently asked questions were no longer being faced with these issues. And this is one way in which we were able to resolve this one conflict that was creating tangible issues for both our team and the sales team. Thank you so much, and that'll be all.